Hello everyone. I am president of Startup and Innovation Club of CEC Bhavnagar, and I am overwhelmed to welcome you all in our first ever event, a startup talk with an entrepreneur. And I again welcome you all. So today we are with us our guest speaker Malav Shah, and basically let me introduce first that what actually our club is. So, as our name suggests, that we are a club of startups and innovations. We connect people with who are startup enthusiastic, and we promote startups and entrepreneurship in our college. And with aim to promote startup culture in our college, we are here with our first event. And in this first event, you will get to know about the journey of our guest speaker, Malav Shah, who is founder of Riolo and co-founder of Interreality. So I would like to invite our principal sir, Professor G.P. Vododaria sir, to inaugurate our first ever event. And please, sir, tell us some few lines or few words for our club, and let us begin this event with your kind words. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Moin. Nice to hear you because we were eagerly waiting for this club to be more vibrant because that's the need of an hour.
Yes, sir.
I want my students to be coming with an innovative idea and to become an entrepreneur at the end of 4 years, or rather, I think during the study itself, they should start earning while learning. So that is what I want from my all students. Uh, Regarding startup and regarding Malav, I closely monitored Malav. Before the startup cell, which was started in LD, engineering college, we started Aram. That was our startup cell of LD engineering college. So we began and we went
सर
from
एक्सक्यूज मी
computers.
सर थोड़ा आपका वॉइस लो है सर.
Low hai, sir. Okay,
हाँ थोड़ा सा.
sir, Himanshu. Just a minute, sir. Himanshu, volume. Just a minute, huh? Thank you. So I'm audible. It's okay
यस सर
or
प्लीज.
still okay? So Malav, I was talking about Malav. So before we started our Aram, that's a SSIP cell at LDG College, he came up with a startup that is called as a Rielo. Rielo is basically about a hologram. So I think really, and he was probably many of the students told me about Malav. At that time, I haven't seen Malav. So when once he came to my principal's office, then I came to know that he is the Malav and he is the brain behind the Riolo startup. And that Riolo then went up so vibrantly that even he captured our honorable CM Vijay Rupani, the hologram of Vijay Rupani, that was on a, I think probably on annual day of Ahmedabad, probably whatever the message was to be given in a 3D format. I think the live that's in form of hologram, Vijay Rupani ka pura usne he depicted the hologram. So that was one of the I think outcome of his startup. Then we also planned for conjugation of GTU, but anyway it could not matter because physically they end up with a physical conjugation of selected students. Otherwise, Mala was invited to go for virtual conjugation as if the students is getting a medal, chief guest is giving a medal or a certificate. So that kind of technology, he's a master in that particular technology. And because of that, I always remember Malav. And one more was Ronak. Ronak. I think I have forgotten the name.
He was Roshan, sir.
Yeah, so with the idea of that, those that but the real hero was Malo. He was a successful startup owner, and he is big startup, and he was successfully. But I think he's right to look at what he did, and what he was a successful and a very extraordinary profile in college, and presently he is coming with various startups, and he is a successful entrepreneur. So I thought, why not to have a student. Now probably he has passed out from LD, but I want a student startup which was successful during his graduation period, and now he's a successful entrepreneur. So I want him to connect directly to the students. That's why I just had a talk with Dr. Srivastava when I was there at his residence, and ultimately I called him at late night, probably 10 o'clock or 10:30 or 11. So he immediately responded, "Sir, it will be glad enough for me to be a part of your startup activity." And immediately he gave the concern. I asked about his details, and finally he just gave me late night all the details, and it was circulated to the Dr. Himanshu Srivastava. And this way, he came up to this particular event. So this is the first event, and I think I'm overjoyed because of the person, student, startup owner who is present before the student. For the student, I am sure once you will listen him, he looks very simple, but he is a very very extraordinary. He is having a brain, and because of that, he is a successful, and he is down to earth. Again, you just see his personality. He has already at a very early age he has gained a lot of things, but still when he was student also, other his partners were over excited, but he was always calm and cool because he was the brain behind all startups. So this is the personality. I want few Malavs from GEC Bhavnagar also. So always I give his example whenever I talk to anyone about startup innovation or such kind of techniques which he has come up with. So I'm really glad, Malav, on behalf of GEC Bhavnagar, I welcome you, and I'm sure today your presence will make a difference in student startup club of GEC Bhavnagar. I want many of my students to come up with some good idea. We are ready to fund. I got enough fund. There are no one taker is there probably. Takers नहीं है मेरे पास. मुझे पैसा देना है, but मैं खर्च नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. So I feel really bad कि मेरे बच्चे यहाँ पर भी टैलेंट है. GEC भावनगर is also full of talent. I know because of Malav, I would like to add that we have started 14 students community clubs. We have started 14 at a time with a proper mechanism. We asked for the proposal, format was fixed. Then proposal was screened before the committee. There was a live interview of all the faculty, all the students, office bearers, and finally we approved. So it was compulsory for each club to have a faculty mentor also. So there are 14 faculty mentor. Above all, Dr. Srivastava will act as a head faculty mentor. So in this way we started, and I am proud to announce that already we have covered about 7 to 8 clubs so far, or events have occurred within the 1 month period, and students are now so overjoyed. Even though it's a era of pandemic, we thought it will be very difficult to start with a webinar, but now it seems it is very easy in this pandemic period to have such kind of events, and every day we are having 1 or 2 events. At I think probably today in the at 2:30 also we are having a webinar in a communication skills. So since last 8 days we are having a series of lectures in communication skill, which is again coordinated by Dr. Srivastava. We have dropped up all the faculty of government colleges, and our students are benefited. Some of the doubts of teachers are also cleared because some of the things, because we are casual about communication, and I think this was the time when we don't have a students physically in class, our campus. It is the time to join for such activity and enjoy, and moreover, this is live on YouTube. So if at all, if you miss any event, we can look at it the same event anytime. So that's the beauty of our GC Bhavnagar's media club, that it has been live every day. All events are live. So you can Google up GC BVN. I think you will write, you will get the various activities which are already there on YouTube. And I'm sure you will appreciate our students' activity also. And you will support our students for at least for startups, all good things which is required, because they need some confidence build up. That is what is required. They have idea, but they are probably, I think, maybe not be getting a proper platform or proper advice or suggestion. That's why they are lagging. But ultimately, I think students can connect more to the students, present generation students. So I will not take much more time. Already I've said many things about all of you. But anyway, Malav, I'm really overjoyed, and I welcome you on behalf of GC Bhavnagar. We have got a good students, faculty. I can see Professor Srivastava and Garjar, who is already there to see the live event, and many more, I think, will be there behind the screen. So thank you once again,
Oh,
all of you,
yeah.
different leaders of this
Thank.
club, all
Yes.
faculty members, mentors, and Dr. Srivastav, who is the key person behind all the activity, all the clubs. So I want many more Srivastavs also in the campus. Thank you very much. With these words, once
Thank
again,
you.
I welcome you, Mal. Thank you. Over to Moin.
Okay. Thank. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Your words were very, very motivating. And me, my team, and Startup and Innovation Club will always, always try to bring new talents ahead. And it is we can say that it is our motivation that we want fail startups come out of our college, and we want to dedicate such startups to our college, and we are looking very far. So, without wasting much time, let me introduce to you my personal inspiration and our head faculty coordinator of all of the clubs, and soft skill and personality development teacher from our college, Dr. Himanshu Srivastava. Sir, please go ahead and tell us few words about our club.
Thank you, Moin. Good evening, sir. Vadodria, sir. Gajjar, sir. And Mr. Malav. I really, really appreciate calling you Mr. Malav because you have raised those bars, and definitely in coming times would be definitely addressing you as the greatest entrepreneur that LD has produced. Because, sir, when he was introducing you to me, had high hopes, high dreams, and what a simple boy can achieve is the success of a great leader, because somebody would have inspired you. Definitely. I remember first year of civil engineering, sir. I went into the classroom and Moin and so many students were sitting, and then the moment I have this tendency of telling my or writing my WhatsApp number to every student. You can call me up into my times. And he approached me and he said, I have so many thoughts of doing social activities. I am so over bubbly, overjoyed. I said, you are at the right place and definitely you will find a better place in coming times. And see, Moin, you are
Yes,
heading,
sir.
you got the right time. Sir is there. So he has
Yes.
created this opportunity, Mr. Malav. He has created this opportunity for every student. If you have any talent in you, in fact, all the teachers they know you. He would have discussed you when startup comes away. I mean, to our SSIP main coordinator Nilesh Pandya sir also sir was discussing. He is a great inspiration, and we would like him to address the students because he would be the greatest connect to the young minds of his age. So I welcome you on behalf of GEC Bhavnagar, and I hope that this journey that you have begun with just a call from sir would be a roadmap to most of the students in leading to great companies. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And Moin, all the best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Now heading towards Professor C.A. Gajjar, sir. He is a mentor of our club, and once he motivated me for something called startup and entrepreneurship, and he has a contribution to arising startup culture in our civil department. He is assistant professor in civil department as well as head faculty mentor of SSIP in our department. So, sir, I would like to invite you to tell us few words about our club, sir. So go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you, Moin, President of SSIP Club. Good evening, Professor Dr. G.P. Varodaya, sir, Honorable Principal of GEC Bhavnagar, Dr. H.S. Srivastava, sir, and I welcome Mr. Malav, the young brain behind your entrepreneurship and whatsoever you have achieved the success. It is very fantastic, and it is a set of an example. You have achieved a milestone. Once I was as a student, I was in BE. I thought about how can we start somewhat innovative business in civil engineering. And see, now I have been given one duty of SSIP, and I'm leading one project and mentoring one project in my department. So this is the thing which we generally do in SSIP. We just have somewhat thought, somewhat idea, and we need to make somewhat innovation with our knowledge. We have to gain somewhat more information from any particular project, and we have to establish what we can do for completing any innovation, which must be a marketable one, right? As and when the key goal is there about SSI, what I believe, that is to empower the young brains. Okay, so we have to empower the young brains, and Mr. Malav, you are one of the example of the same, and I'm very much eager to hear from you because if you will tell us, so this will be a part of peer learning. See, in colleges, in institute, we are doing two types of learning, right? From teachers to the student, and from student or friend to student. So that is the peer learning. So for the peer learning, the young brains like you are the examples and the motivation. Okay. So without wasting any time, Mr. Moin, if you may invite Mr. Malav so that he can continue.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. As a principal, sir, and other faculties have introduced you, Mr. Malav Shah. Let me introduce you him again. He is founder of Riolo and co-founder of Interreality. His startup Riolo was ranked under 100 best startups of India, and also he lead a team which won Hackathon 2019. So he has so many things to tell, and without wasting much time, I am handing mic to him. So, Mr. Malav sir, please guide our students and give best talk from your side. Go ahead.
I would just interrupt once, just once. Uh,
Yes, sir.
we are on a voyage of a talk. The title itself is a journey, a talk of a journey of a person who is
Yes,
starting
sir.
a startup. When we came up with
Yes,
this
sir.
book, principal sir was keen enough that the first episode, first chapter should have Malav. So with
Yes, sir.
this introduction, now I'll welcome you.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you so much for the kind words, everyone. Vadodariya sir, Gajjar sir, Himanshu sir, even Moin. Like, I'm just overwhelmed by the words that you have used to describe me. I am like, I don't feel I have done something yet you people have made me at the level that even I aspire to be there, right? So this is one thing. To put the analogy across, what Vadodariya sir has described me as, so we are the fruits, either me or the Roshan that sir talked about. We are the fruits that which are the seeds that Vadodariya sir sowed just some years back, right? So we came to sir with some ideas about hologram technology, hackathon, participating in hackathon, changing the world using our fingertips. But just imagine if sir wouldn't have supported us, I might not be over here sitting giving you all this startup and startup talk over here, right? Expert lecture about my own journey. So it is very important you remember who put down that seed, and you are the result for even someone's allowance, someone's permission, or even at that case, the minute thing is freedom. Sir gave us that freedom to just be ourselves. What were the thoughts? Even if we fail, Sir had this thing that okay, I will support you, right? So it is very much I am very much grateful to you, Vadodariya sir. I have always been grateful to you, even yeah, with the minute of the minute update. The Vadodariya sir is always on my mind. Like I would want to update Vadodariya sir. This is the thing that happened and everything. So he has been in the loop in a way or out, right? So this has been the kind of relationship with me and Vadodariya sir as a student and principal. And one very best thing about him was he was always welcoming about new creative ideas. He wasn't like a typical teacher, like कि पहले अटेंडेंस पे ध्यान दे दो उसके बाद ये सब करना. So he was always encouraging about the ideas, creativity, and everything. So that led us to engage in activities like this, either hackathon clubs, or even at the stake we intended to do startup later, right? So this was the major thing. So now the reason that I just described Vadodariya sir in this whole startup journey and the role he played in the early days is because you people, everyone watching on YouTube, you people can leverage with the tenure he will have at GEC Bhavnagar. I'm sure sir will be transforming the way GEC Bhavnagar has been till now, and obviously the way and the energy he brings in is just a different thing, right? The way he was introducing not just me but even the E-Cell, GC Bhavnagar, Himanshu sir, Gajjar sir, it was all he energy was reflecting in his voice only, right? So that was something that he brings in apart from his own creative ideas and such. So you people can surely leverage this time with him, right? I'm sure that even if so, see, as a student, even I'll be graduating this month only if I pass the GTU exams, hopefully. So, Vadodariya sir is someone that if you go to his office doors are always open for creative ideas and everything. As I mentioned, he is someone that he will direct you to the right steps. If this is the idea, you should reach out to this person. You should take this approach XYZ. So he will go out of even his limits, his range, to help you to achieve what you want. But you should be having that willingness to show that okay, I am dedicated enough, I want to do certain things, and with that case I can not just achieve for myself but for the college, for society, or for that being I can start my own startup, right? So this is the environment that you people are blessed with right now. And even apart from this, so I have been a student of LD College of Engineering, as Moin has mentioned in my introduction, and even sir mentioned it. So with LD College of Engineering, what had happened is I have been given a lot of freedom to do and execute my ideas, my everyday daily process about executing the ideas, even meetings. For that case, if I miss out some lectures, they would allow me to do so, so that I can balance academic and startup very well, right? Obviously, they won't spare me for the kind of assignments and everything they just ask to complete. That was something that I had to be on it. But for that case, before and after the attending attendance thing, which is the most common problem for every student out there, is something that if you go about it, every faculty is going to support you, right? But you should have that willingness to accomplish something. First point. Second is, major thing what I have noticed even here in my college is something that people just want to have those fruits and don't want to just go into the field and take the grinding and the process behind it, right? Because nothing comes easy. You have to grind yourself to the pace that and the limit that you haven't thought of, right? So these are the basics, I would say, prerequisite to a startup, right? You should have that kind of mindset first. So how do you develop that mindset is having the clear vision about yourself, how you want to be in your coming life. Is it something that you want to pursue some mediocre life? Is it something के 4 साल engineering किया उसके बाद job कर लिया and just settle down? Is it something you want? Then it is fine. But if you want something that you should develop the product on your own, you should you if you want to be an influencer, you should leverage YouTube, for that case Instagram, and even there are many platforms, right? So everything boils down to what you want to be. Correct. Now break that down into small goals, and with that goals, uh, even break those goals into smaller achievable milestones. It could be monthly basis, it could be weekly basis, right? So this is how you position and plan yourself. Now coming back to my topic, talking about my journey as the topic suggests. So what happened is, when so I did my diploma from Government Polytechnic Ahmedabad in computer engineering only, and later on I just got admitted into LD in second year, right? And this was the clear vision back in my 10th standard only, that at any point in time of my life I would be doing my own business. I would be pursuing to set up my own business. This was the mindset back in my 10th standard, right? I'll take you a bit more back. So in 8th standard, in 8th standard, what I did was, there was a presentation given to us from the subject SS, Social Studies, right? So presentation हमने कर लिया and everything. So sir told, one of our faculty told us, this presentation should be distributed to each and every student. Who is that one guy who can distribute by writing the CDs out of it? So I was always into computer and such things, tech things. So I knew how to write CDs, the new CDs, right? So what I did was, again मैं तो गुजराती भी हूँ और बिजनेस माइंडसेट भी था थोड़ा. So what I did was, I bought 10 rupees of CD and sold it for 15 rupees, right? For that case, even I had that sort of maturity that first investment नहीं करना है, 10 रुपए की सीडी पहले नहीं लानी है. You just write the names everyone who wants, take the money of 15 rupees, and then purchase those 10 rupees CDs from it, and then later give it, right? So मेरा initial investment भी कुछ नहीं था, and this was all in its standard, right? So this was the kind of mindset that I had. Now when I look back, I realize that okay, whatever I'm doing was something that I have always been doing since my childhood, right? So that is the result of who am I today, right? So I'll tell you the reason that why I'm mentioning this story. So fast forward to my 10th standard, I did diploma. During diploma I sold फिरकीज, जो उत्तरायण के टाइम पे जो फिरकी आती है पतंग चगाने की. आई सोल्ड दैट ऑन Amazon. So I never thought of कि एक भी बिकेगी. But for my trial and error purpose and just for intrigue, I was so intrigued कि Amazon पे how does the selling thing happens. So just out of my intrigueness, I put that down, click image, and so I sold 9 firkis across India, right, during my diploma. And after getting admitted into LD and such, in the second year, I took up internship, right? So as you are all aware of the startup club that you are engaged with, SSIP is the scheme of Gujarat government, wherein here there were also granted startups. So I took up internship in two of the startups within 6 months. All right. So I knew that I was never going to. I shouldn't say this. I have been in one of the most prestigious college of Gujarat and speaking in one of it. But I would still make the point that I knew that I was never going to pursue further study later on, or even that case I won't be scoring like 10 or 9 SPI. So I should focus on the things that I am good at, and the things that I want to pursue and make it the career out of it. So that was the point that I took up internship. And later on, after a few months, there was one of the circular revolving that okay, now we will be accepting new application for SSIP. So that is when I started thinking the idea of Riolo. Now here's the point: how did I came to the idea of developing hologram technology, which led to Riolo, right? So talking about the process of ideating, how do you ideate a startup? As in, there are many of the students, not just students, but even many of the professionals, adults, they come to me that idea किस तरह से आता है, right? So I always say कि you should observe your surroundings, right? How you have been through your childhood will affect majorly on what sort of ideas you think, because mindset is what matters the most, right? So this is what we have been taught since childhood. But how does it happen? What is the psychology of thinking of thinking the idea? It is you should have first the observation mindset. So जैसे I told you कि this was the mindset since 8th standard, later on sailing firkis on during diploma, and later coming up to this. What had happened was, how did Riolo happen is, okay, I am a physically challenged guy, right? My 63% of the body is disabled, right? So I had this thought, okay, if I am not able to do certain things, if I am limited to do certain things, why can't I develop something that would do and enable things that I wish to, right? So, to be very realistic, if I want to do hip hop, I can't do hip hop dance because of those limitations, because of I'm physically challenged, right? But the thought intrigued me that okay, now if I develop something which is a hologram, which is reflection of me, so I can make my hologram do hip hop or just dance like anything, and just deliver to the people that I would wish myself to be as, right? So just to explain you all in simple language, we always had this wish of being at multiple places, being at our home, right? So just imagine, Moin, you hosting this whole talk with alongside every faculties over here present. Just imagine how amazing it would be if you could just be over here and your reflection might be dancing or just singing at some concert, right? So this was something that we always had wish for, and later on we even noticed that in movies like Avengers and such. So that was the point that I came to the idea of Riolo, because that was correlating it with my story, my background, my how about of it, and the fact that hologram technology was going to be the future in next 5 to 10 years at least, right? So the criteria to think an idea is, if you are thinking of any product, any service, or any such things, ask yourself is if it is going to be future or not, right? So if it isn't going to be future, then why to just invest your time right now, right? So this should be the criteria of thinking of an idea. You should correlate it with your story, the problems you face, the surrounding you have, right? So, to elaborate this point, what it means is, just imagine the fact that if you are a computer student and if you are offering the freelance services to some of the companies, and if you find a problem regarding CRM, which is customer relationship management, so you identify a problem, you develop software about it, you and then you offer, okay, see, this is the product that we have developed, this will solve XYZ problem, and then later on this segment of customer can leverage it, right? So this is how an ideal process of ideation goes into picture. But to get you all into more detail, what happens is, कि everyone might have problem at in every process. Like if there might be possible कि someone might own manufacturing unit, someone might own an IT company, someone might own just a simple retail shop. Just go with them, ask about the problems they are facing, and just observe with the fact that how can you think of the idea, not just idea, but what sort of loopholes can you fill in. जैसे मैंने CRM का एग्जांपल दिया, second example I would give you of Uber. Let's take an example of Uber, right? Uber or Ola. So what problems did they solve? They solved the problem for drivers and not us, right? Why drivers and not us? Is because of the fact that drivers were finding the difficulty in finding recurring customer, right? They would have to wait at some point, at some crossroads, at some uh, beside the apartments, the traffic and everything. They would ask, kahan jana hai, kahan jana hai, kahan jana hai. But with Uber, they enabled this driver to make a network out of it, they can leverage that. And with online service, online booking service, they could just integrate that network and reach out to the customer, which even they are away from that area, right? So Uber came like this way. Paytm, talking about Paytm, the second most valued startup of India. How did that happen? So Vijay Shekhar Sharma had this vision of something that I came across one of the interview he gave on YouTube or somewhere I read. I didn't remember. I don't remember now. But he told that there was one guy who was doing every job that Paytm offers. What was that? पहले के ज़माने में देयर वाज वन गाय घर घर पे या तो फिर ऑफिस में कि वो बिल भर के आता था, लाइट बिल भर के आता था, चेक भर के आता था, एंड एवरी सच सर्विसेज, राइट? सो ही एनविजन्ड दैट ओके, whatsoever thing this one guy is doing, ये एक ऐप करेगा. Just on the one click, you will be able to pay on light bills, even the transfer of money and everything. So what happens is, now how do I want to correlate these stories is Vijay Shekhar Sharma had the, how did he envision is he saw that guy उनके घर पे या ऑफिस पे भी जो भी होगा उनके पापा के यहाँ काम करता होगा. He envisioned that कि okay, this is are the things that are the current processes, but 5 years 10 years down the line when mobile will be more relevant, ऐसी कोई ऐप होगी which will enable every user just on one click, right? So he observed his surrounding and then came to the point that okay, this can be the thing, right? So startups are full of uncertainties, but it is the most adventurous journey you will ever come across and experience, right? You can't experience this kind of journey at any point in time, and in any kind of job. Even if you go and get a job in Google or Apple, you won't get to experience this kind of journey with all the ups and downs and everything. Obviously this is a challenging journey, I would say. Startup is not everyone's cup of tea, right? It is something that it is a courageous thing to take up and just bet on thing that even it is not there in market already, right? So you should have that kind of mindset. That is the reason why it is said that mindset is everything, and mindset builds the startup, right? So that is the reason your surroundings will be highly affected to the kind of ideas you get in. So as I mentioned, my 8th standards journey, diploma and everything, I was very much intrigued by the technology. So I aligned my own problem to how any sort of technology or any sort of tool can solve it, right? So that led me to Riolo. Now, talking about Riolo, the more bit of the journey, what sort of challenges I faced, what was it like back then, finding customers and everything, right? So, what happened was this is the ideal startup flow for any idea or anything, right? You get the idea, you validate the idea with the right people. So if you are solving a problem for some industry, manufacturing industry, and you come to me, if I am a computer guy, if I own an IT company, if you come to me, okay, hey Malav, this is the idea, what should I do now? So I might be not the right customer for you. Your customer will be someone who has the experience, who is executing the daily process for whatsoever your idea should be, right? So validating the idea is the major important thing. Next is developing the prototype, right? So for the prototype, even SSIP now comes in the role, right? Wherein just as sir mentioned कि उनको पैसे देने हैं, लेने वाला कोई नहीं है. सो लोग तब लेंगे जब उनको ये थॉट होगा कि नहीं, वी कैन डू समथिंग लाइक दिस, एंड इवन इफ वी फेल इट डजंट मैटर, वी कैन टेक अप अनदर आइडिया, वी कैन रीइटरेट, बट एटलीस्ट द ब्यूटीफुल पार्ट अबाउट द स्टार्टअप जर्नी इज नो वन फेल्स, right? Everyone just learns it, right? This is the cycle of it. Everyone learns. If this doesn't work, you learn कि okay, ये नहीं चल रहा है, this is something that I won't take up, and if I do, I'll take care of these steps. So you develop the prototype, you give it out to the customers that you validated with, वो लोग आपको फीडबैक देंगे, देयर कुड बी सम एरर्स, वो लोग आपको फीडबैक देंगे, you improve your product, iterate and just launch in the market, right? And even if it doesn't work, it is okay. You are just like 19, 20, 21 year old kid. Even I call myself a kid in the professional world, right? I am still 22. Obviously, I am a kid. So let yourself give the space to even fail, right? Celebrate your failures. Why is that important? Is since childhood, what we have been taught is don't get fail. या तो फिर if you fail, it is very bad. या तो फिर something like failure is something that was treated as कि our parents would scold us. Why did you fail? तुम ध्यान नहीं देते, you are always into friends and everything, but that's not the case. If even if you fail, that is fine, that is not of your interest. If you, I ask you, Moin, if you aren't interested in maths, and if I still put down to you that okay, you should study maths, you are anyway going to fail. But if you are very good at something in programming or say, so I won't have to just put you down to programming ke, okay Moin, programming kar, because that is your interest, right? So with that case, even if you fail, it is okay, right? With that said, what happens is it gives you the space to think of it as how can I learn from this part? How can I learn from this failure? Right? So this is the most important part that students and most of the entrepreneurs miss, of how to treat failure as not the failure, right? So that eventually that failure channelizes to the better ways of thinking and executing the idea. But talking about the other side of the coin, the other side of startup and everything, what happens is you just get I won't say diluted, but you just get into it so much, you just don't care about anything and everything, right? So I was very much intrigued about the fact that about the cricket and all such entertainment stuff, but eventually that boils me down to something that everywhere and anywhere I came to the point that इसमें रियो लोग किस तरह से क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकता है. दैट अभी जैसे लास्ट ईयर आईपीएल जो हुआ था उसमें देर वर नो ऑडियंस, राइट? एलईडी स्क्रीन्स लगाई गई थी एंड ऑडियंस वर वर्चुअली प्रोजेक्टेड ऑन दोज एलईडी स्क्रीन्स. सो आई वॉज इंस्टेड ऑफ फोकसिंग ऑन आईपीएल मुंबई इंडियंस और सीएसके का स्कोर क्या है, आई वॉज थिंकिंग एज कि हाँ होलोग्राफिकली अगर ऑडियंस आ जाएगी तो इट वुड बी मैसिव, मजा आ जाएगा सबको. So this is how you operate once you get into startup, right? So for that case, you should have the kind of mindset, right? So and to add upon this, what happens with you is you should be prepared. Okay, even your close friends won't be able to get connected with what you are doing. So what you need to prioritize, what is important, your idea, your startup, or your friends, right? Because now to point this down, why I pointed this point of friends and the people around is something that लोग तो आएंगे और जाएंगे, that is the fact of startup, right? Forever is a myth, not just in relationship, but even in the startups, right? So what do I mean by that is कि starting में मेरी जो team थी, that like what happened was कि they opted out for, and they wanted to pursue MBA, then GRE, going for masters and everything. So I can't hold upon everyone, right? So I had this thought, if Riolo was my idea, why I should be dependent on anyone, right? I should have, not I should have, but I already had some of the plans of how I would do if people aren't around there. So I would have to take up and do more tasks, put in more time. If I was doing 8 hours per day, if I was working 8 hours per day, I had to do 16, 15, and for some time 18 hours per day, right? Just to cope up with the people who aren't there, but I had to, right? So I have always, even though I am from computer engineering background, I know how to code and everything, but I have always been on the market and product side, right? So during those times, you have to learn whatsoever you even don't like, right? So for my case, coding was something that I could do, but I didn't like it very much. So I had to learn and just execute on my own because there was no one and customers were expecting me to deliver. So these are the kind of uh, challenges that you would face while going forward, but eventually everything goes into the place. Everything comes down to the point that every piece of maze will just get into the place once you start executing and put everything down into execution, right? So this is first. And another last conclusive point I would want to tell you is, conclusively, startup is just like an archery. Okay, what do I mean by that is, this is one of the quote that I love about, which was said by Ritesh Agarwal, right? So what he always says is, you keep an eye with the present execution and another eye with the to the future aspect, right? Why is that? Is something you should enable your idea, transform your idea into the trends that future is appealing towards, right? So talking about Riolo and interality, we even introduced crypto and NFT into the concept. We started off with the hologram technology and AR VR, but now we are even introducing crypto and NFT to it, right? So to make it appealing, I won't have to now think of like कि हाँ चलो present में तो it is all going good with hologram technology, we have decent customer and everything, but later on, after what if after 3 years? So that is the main reason why you should be always adaptable to future, right? So this is one. Now just to give you intro about Riolo, what Riolo does is, Riolo is developing hologram technology which enables a person to be at multiple places at the same time being at your home. So just like Vadodara sir is sitting here and interacting with us, he can be in LD College of Engineering delivering some his expert lecture. So his hologram can be placed at LD College of Engineering, speaking over there, yet sitting with us, right? So this is the kind of base technology we developed upon. One of the product that we will be launching now in just a month or two is called as Filmit. That is one of the product of Riolo only. What it does is, that product is majorly for content creators and filmmakers, right? what it operates on is, जैसे कि अभी के टाइम में to go on the places like London, US, or even for some case Australia is not possible, right? तो जैसे कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया की ग्रेफिटी वॉल, आई वांट इट एज बैकड्रॉप, मुझे मेरा सेट वहां पे चाहिए. So actor actress are finding it difficult to move out there and shoot at those kind of places due to lockdown and COVID and everything. So this will be an app which will enable you to just select the location. आपके घर पे ही you will be able to enable virtual location through augmented reality, right? So it will seem to be as कि जैसे वडोदरिया sir is sitting somewhere. If I enable Australia's graffiti wall, he would be seem to be as कि he is just across Australia's graffiti wall, right? So there will be many such places. You just have to select और आपके घर पे वो location आ जाएगी. As simple as that. So we even validated this idea with Anushka Sharma Production House, Ronnie Screwwala Production House, Maddock Films, even Alia Bhatt's manager. So these are the kind of validation we have got for this product, right? Now talking about interality. So this is one another startup that I just found in this February. So what this startup does is, it is augmented reality, or should I say extended reality for content creators. You can interact with your favorite content creators in augmented reality. So just imagine, Moin, if I know that tomorrow is your birthday, and if you are big fan of Tanmay Bhatt, what I would do is I would ask Tanmay Bhatt to record, "Hey, happy birthday, Moin. Have a great life ahead." And if I deliver it to you, and if you could enable Tanmay Bhatt in augmented reality sitting beside you, it would be an amazing feeling for you, isn't it?
Obviously.
So that is the kind of idea that we are developing at Interality. And it is not just limited to content creators or Tanmay Bhatt, but it will be enabling to cricketers, celebrities, everyone out there. And even that case, creators can create NFT of that. NFT is the sub part of the crypto. We can have a whole different session on NFT if the people want. So yeah, these are the two
One thing,
main startups that I am operating on
uh,
right now.
Malav,
So yeah.
I remember
Hmm.
OnePlus Nord probably began its campaigning like this way only, na?
Yeah, sir, it was
They have
one.
this augmented thing, you can just download. So then, the whole I have recorded, a whole virtually it was presented in front of me, the whole OnePlus Nord.
So, sir, exactly. So, even brands are like now adapting to this kind of technologies because, as I mentioned, one eye to the present and the another eye to the future, right? So, AR and holograms are anyway going to be the future. The fact that AR glasses are being developed by likes of Apple, Google, Microsoft, everyone. So now whatsoever and however we are interacting will be replaced by those AR glasses. Just imagine the glasses that we are wearing, sir. Vadodara sir, me and you, we will be able to interact through our glasses only like this. You won't have to just open your laptop or mobile phone at that case.
Great, great, great,
In
great.
that case, I would also love to have specs.
Right.
Definitely. So yeah, this is very much from my side. I would like to now take upon questions from everyone.
There's a question, Moin Digvijay sir, Digvijay has raised. You can,
Mhm.
Moin, address Digvijay's question.
The question is there on the screen. What made you motivated while going through ups and downs? This
Oh,
question
absolutely.
Digvijay
That
got.
is the interesting question. So, what motivated me, or what should be the motivation for anyone going through the startup, is the end vision, right? So, you should be excited about the vision that you want to pursue. A, because for any startup the vision would be to change the conventional procedure of anything, right? So with Riolo I had the vision, I not I had, but I still have the same vision that I want to change the way people interact with each other, right? So even in this call, through YouTube or anything, people aren't able to get the personal touch, personal sense of interacting in reality, right? So this was the vision. Now, through ups and downs, I always, when you even go through this kind of journey, and if you face such ups and downs, you should think of the vision and just ask yourself two questions. First is why you started, right? That will remind you of your vision, right? Obviously your why is your vision. Your why is your vision is the answer to your why, correct? Second question, you just not question but you need to just talk with yourself is from where you started and to where you are, right? Because aspirations, expectation and everything is ever going to evolve and change. So however I started Riolo, it was just on that day, the day I got grant and everything, it was just the thing, okay, I want to start my own business. But now I want to make it to global. Even though we have now got clients across the ocean like US, UK, Canada and everything. But now for that case, now the expectation will keep on changing. That now, okay, I want to introduce a product that should be used by millions, right? So that is every now and then it is going to change. So you should ask these two questions. First is why you started, second is where you reached from where you started, right? So I started off nothing and I still got till this, so it is kind of a progress. So if I even got to a point that if I am not able to deliver the product which is used by millions, I still made it to it, right? So the parameters are always different. You should have the metrics and parameter to judge your success or failure based on your own metrics.
There's a question from Umang.
Uh,
How is hologram product made and which technology? How did the
uh,
hologram? How are the holograms made and which tech products? I mean, which type of products? Probably the raw
right.
material or something that he's talking about.
So it is combination of both hardware and software. For software, we used majorly 3D appealing software, which was Unity, Blender, Unreal, and such. For hardware, we were developing our proprietary material. For that case, we got our manufacturer tie up and everything.
Hello, Malav.
Hmm.
Hello. There
Yes.
are some frequently asked questions, and
Hmm.
some students send me their questions before this session.
Right.
So, would you like to answer them?
Sure. Sure. Absolutely. Why not? Go on.
So we will starting a rapid Q&A session. So hold on, everyone. I am going to ask Mr. Malav Shah a few questions. So first of all, first question is that Mr. Malav, how do you balance academics and work of startup? How do you balance it? Discuss it briefly.
Right. That is the like mountain for any of the student, right? To reach and balance it well. So as I mentioned, if you just go about it, if you are doing some productive thing around academics or even beyond academics, no one is going to stop you. This is the first ideology and base that I have experienced. I am not just saying for the sake of it, but I have experienced. If you go to Gajjar sir, if you say that okay, I want to develop something like this in civil field or in any sort of field, I'm sure he is going to support you, because he had this eye that okay, if I didn't able to do this, or this is the something that student is anyway going to make progress, he won't limit you to the academics or what just books has to offer, right? Because of the fact that this is the base analogy. No, I won't say analogy, but this is the base understanding that this professor even understand that there is the whole beautiful world outside the books and the class, right? So they won't
True.
stop you to explore that and innovate into that world, right? This is the first thing. Second thing is about assignments and everything. That is something you will have to do it, right? So either you do some jugaad, either you do any sort of thing, you will have to submit at the end of the day. So jugaad mindset is the I would say the replica of how an entrepreneur should think of it.
Our second question comes that how to get a team. I mean, if you have idea, if you have everything, but where to get people who can work for you?
Correct. Uh, Interesting question again. So, finding a team and co-founder. These are the two major things that a startup faces, right? So, if I say ki I want to develop hologram technology, so, and if you don't believe in the same vision, then you won't be able to add value to what we want to achieve, right? So you should think, not just think, but look for someone who could share the same vision with you, right? This is how you achieve. This is how you find the team members for it. Like to finding co-founder, it is just as similar process of find for the co-founder. What happens is if you believe someone that okay, let's do this, let's do that, everything, if his vision doesn't match yours, your startup will screw up, right? So finding the co-founder is the same process of finding the right partner for life, because for the case what happens is later on, if you just go and marry your girlfriend or anyone, you can even divorce, you can even file divorce. But if you have the co-founder who doesn't have the same vision as yours, there's no way going back, you will anyway going to regret
Absolutely.
it later,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes, exactly.
So finding the right co-founder is important, and co-founder must be someone who should complement your own skill. What do I mean by
Yes,
that? If I'm good at product, I should find co-founder who is good at business, right? So two co-founders should not be with the alike skills.
okay, absolutely. So, in brief, we can say that a co-founder that you are intending should have a similar vision, right?
So
So,
they
the
should be
third
as
question is
excited
that
as you.
yes, yes, exactly, exactly. So, the next question is that what is your mantra for managing people? I mean, there might be some kind of disputes or fights between team members. So, how do you manage that situations?
Absolutely. So, firstly, as a leader, you should not be act as boss, right? There is a major difference between boss and a leader, right? A leader is someone who would be willing to take up constructive criticism. Even for that
Yes,
case, I have given this, I would say, the space and
yes,
freedom to my teammates or any of one, even intern can point me out that hey Malav, this is something which is which you are not doing it right, right? So I won't be offending that okay, how can you say this, I have more experience than you and everything. So this will build my own ego and won't benefit the company. So you should think whatsoever opinion you are getting is beneficial for company or not, right?
yes,
For that case,
right,
why I pointed this out is something that if you know, if you have hired someone who has those skills which can help you achieve the vision, then he might have different opinion and perspective about how to achieve that vision, right? So anyway your company
right.
is going to be benefited, right? So this is one thing.
Yes,
Second thing
exactly.
is ownership. Employees, the core team member, interns, they should feel the sense of owner, or sense of they should feel the sense of I would say, I'm not getting the right word, they should feel as if I am doing something, if I am contributing, my decision are being valued.
Belongingness can be a part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is the word. Correct. So they should feel as if कि अगर मैं कुछ ओपिनियन दे रहा हूँ तो ही विल बी समवन और ही कुड बी जो मेरा ओपिनियन सुनेगा. It won't be go into vain, right? So this is where the leaders do mistake कि they don't value, or they don't value the opinion and just put that down in execution. So that is the major source of motivation for any of your team member, right? This is the first thing. Second thing is obviously the vision and the fun part. If you are
Exactly.
working in this whole journey, the whole startup to achieve some vision, you should have sense of humor, right? Because anyway
Exactly.
it will going to be tedious at times. People will say no, customer will say no कि नहीं चाहिए. You will start cold calling कि hey, this is the product XYZ. So he will just disconnect your call at the first case only. So everything is going to happen,
Yes.
but you should live your life as well, right? Else
Yes.
it will be
Exactly.
something like work till time, and people will meet you at your graveyard. It shouldn't be the
Yes.
case. You are doing this for building a beautiful life you have been blessed with, right? So you should have sense of
Exactly.
humor, you should celebrate failure, you should laugh on yourself, right? So
Yes.
this
Exactly.
is how the team culture should build. The team culture is very much important.
Okay. Exactly, exactly. And I am personally a kind of a bookworm person, and some my other teammates who likes to read self-help book, they have asked a question that which book do you recommend for regarding startups and entrepreneurship? Which book do you recommend?
Right, right. So to be very honest and frank enough, I was never been a book guy, right? So I would
Okay,
always go about and explore laptop, computer, and everything. Even I was someone that कि कंप्यूटर की रैम कितनी है, इसका नया वर्जन क्या आ सकता है, ये रैम इस तरह से कस्टमाइज कर सकते हैं या नहीं. I was that kind of guy. I won't go to the
okay,
book and read such things, and I would prefer to experimenting. But now
yes,
that I am
exactly,
in the journey and everything, I had to just like develop the habit of reading books, but because
yes,
that is massive, right? That saves a lot of time. You gather some great knowledge.
exactly,
So
exactly,
to
exactly.
name few which will help is something which are 0 to 1, think and grow
Yes,
rich.
Peter Thiel, Peter
Yeah,
Thiel.
by Peter
Yeah,
Thiel. Right.
yes,
And
exactly,
the currently which I am reading is the Lean Startup. Then
yes,
one of the book which I loved very much was Start with Why by Simon Sinek.
but yeah, yeah.
Right. So
Uh,
it is very much intrigue. It is very much intriguing about how do you approach whatever you do things, right? It could be startups, it
yes,
could be job, it could be masters, it could be anything, but your why should be
yes,
crisp and clear, right? It should not be the thing
yes,
कि okay
exactly.
मोहित कर रहा है तो मैं भी करूंगा.
Yes, exactly. By the way, we have a similar taste in book because I have to read all those four books that you have mentioned. So now again moving to a very burning question that
Moin,
MBA is necessary. Hello. Yes,
Moin,
sir.
your
Yes, sir.
initial titles itself is the title of a book. As book is
Yes.
my genre, I'm telling you. Entrepreneur One Not
Yes.
One is a great book.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So now again a burning question for engineers that MBA is necessary for startups or not?
I'm not an MBA by the way.
Yeah, yeah. So the answer lies in that sentence itself.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So now another hardline question that what is a most basic difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur? Because both of them sell some kind of commodity and both of them charge some kind of money. So where both of them gets differentiated, a businessman and an entrepreneur.
Right. Very interesting question. So what happens is it all the difference is all about the mindset, right? So if I just go down and open a shop and sell holograms, right, it is still an innovative product, but it can't be called as a startup, right? I won't be called as an entrepreneur, right? The fact that I might not have the same vision as of what I have for Riolo, right? With entrepreneurs, they always have the vision of changing the process, the conventional process of things that they carry out on, right? It could be as
Yes.
little as how we are communicating, it could be as little as how we are talking on the phone, Clubhouse, right? It could be as little as the I would say one of the product that Apple recently launched was Apple Tag. Obviously, now if Apple is launching, yeah, people will anyway going to buy anything. But Apple Tag is one of the useful product, right? कि चाबी कहीं पे रख दी, फाइल कहीं पे रख दी, तो फिर you can attach to it and you can find it in seconds, right? So you
Yes.
should have that vision. The entrepreneurs always have the vision, long term
Vision.
vision, right? But a
Exactly.
businessman
Exactly.
is someone that they will be more focusing on profits. What
Yes.
profits?
Exactly.
That, okay, if I am earning 1 lakh per month, if I am able to have my roti, kapda, makan, mobile,
Yes.
internet, everything, I'm satisfied. I don't have to change the word,
Exactly.
think of society and everything. But with
Exactly.
entrepreneurship, with entrepreneurs, they always think of changing the conventional process, impacting the society, and everything correlates to it.
Yes. Exactly. You gave me a new vision to differentiate between a businessman and an entrepreneur. So, moving ahead to a last question, which is solely about you, and it is that what is one word which describes your success? I mean, if there would be only one word which is the reason of your success, then what word it would be? I mean, it is hard work or anything else, or smart work, or
So, to address this question, firstly, I don't consider myself success yet, right? So there are many things in the box. No, I'm not being ambitious. I'm not someone like मुझे गाड़ी चाहिए, बंगला चाहिए, इसीलिए मैं सब ये कर रहा हूँ. It is something that I love doing what I am doing, right?
yes,
So that is one thing. That is my kind of mindset. Second is I'm always intrigued about different ideas. How can something can change very major thing, right? So this
yes,
is the kind of
right,
parameters and definition of success that I have set for myself, right? So if I
okay,
am able to do the things that I wish to, then anyway I am successful, right? Else people are
yes,
still unhappy with the fact that they have got big bungalows, Mercedes, and everything, right? So this is my
yes,
definition of
exactly,
success. Now
But
to term,
a bonus question from my side. I always
yes,
ask this
sir,
people who are at a position. Uh, I have I'm a new listener to podcasts nowadays. So I was going
hmm.
through a very nice podcast, which is a show, and I'm taking this question from that show itself, modifying it. What are three mantras of your journey, of Malav's journey, which Malav will never give up? Three mantras of your life of success
sure,
begin define that you will never
sure.
give
Yes,
up.
sir, very, very
Any
nice
junction,
question, sir.
those three mantras you will never give up.
That's a very not just interesting but very thought-provoking question. Even everyone should think of it and work on it, I would say. So the three
Yes,
mantras that even I have for myself that ગુજરાતીમાં એ કહેવાય છે કે તમારા સિદ્ધાંતો શું છે, right? So first is the fact that till 16 years of my life I have always been struggling with my health, right? But with that fact, even I am partially blind. I can't see through my right eye and everything, but still, yet I had this thought of not taking sympathy from anyone, right? So you aren't limited to do anything that you have the mindset for first, right? Don't sympathize yourself is the first mantra that I
yes,
would never give up. Even if I would left with just my mind, I would never give up on things that I always wish to, right? Second thing is i would I would not sacrifice my happiness for things that I don't feel is right for me. What do I mean by that? If someone offers me somewhere in crores or million or billions to live what I am happy doing, be it Riolo or Interality or even for the sake of startup, I would never do that because उसके बाद तो मैं करूँगा ही क्या, हिमालय थोड़ी चला जाऊँगा, right? So your happiness, you should define the criteria of your happiness by yourself, which is something
yes,
which should not be aligning to the bribe that anyone would offer you, right? So never sacrifice your own definition of happiness that you have set for, right? Third thing is be persistent about the process that you are doing, right? It could be something that you might not get result, it could be something that things doesn't go well, it could be something that it could be something as time is not right for you, it could be anything, but just do that, right? What I always say this is uh, in a game called as life, right? If you life is an ocean, if you jump into that, there is an invisible life safety jacket which is going to save you. You aren't, and you will never going to drown in because of the fact that you are executing your process on daily basis, right? So you aren't
Yes,
going to drown it. So now that also repeats the point of why you should give yourself the space to fail, right? Because you aren't going to drown in. तुम कल मर नहीं जाने वाले, right? No one is going to hang you to death कि
right,
okay ये तूने तो fail हो गया अब तू क्या करेगा, right? It is always the society
right.
that talks about, but you don't always you don't listen to yourself. Okay, if this doesn't work, I can still carry upon the things that I can think of whatsoever, right? So just be don't be hard on yourself every time.
Yes. Uh, your words are very, very, very inspiring to us and my student community. And we are very, very glad to have you here in our podcast.
Thank you so much.
I think there is no question now, no question, and almost he has answered all questions in a most practically. I think he has explained everything, and he has given all his experience to all dear students. So Malav, wonderful to hear you, and I think all students must have enjoyed. I'm sure today's his experience, his journey to startup, both the startups and whatever he's doing it, and how he'll end up to the startup and his vision and dream for the life. I think this will be a path breaking for all of us. Uh,
True,
let's
sir.
uh, let's go ahead for the betterment. And my dear students, nothing. I think substitute hard work and your I think mindset. I think we talked a lot about mindset. The mindset, you are supposed to have a proper thinking, and you should be clear what you want to do. He was clear from 8th standard. He want to do business, do something new. So he even continued up to the completion of his graduation. So this is what, and he's not going to leave it. So I think it was a wonderful session. Dr. Srivastav can add what to I have said, and Gajjar Saab can also give some comments about this today's
We'll
session.
start. We'll start with Gajjar sir. Gajjar sir, your remarks,
Gajjar
please.
sir, Gajjar sir, बताइए.
Yes, fabulous session given by Mr. Malav Shah. And as I said, as I wrote in the chat box, that you are the illustration of hard work, willpower, and dedication given by late Milkha Singh ji. ओके सो जिससे आपको किक मिलती है, वो चीज अगर आप मुझे बता दे तो मुझे भी थोड़ी किक मिलेगी. आपको किक किससे मिलती है?
काम से.
Sir, basically, I would say ideas only. I'm not like a nerd guy. I would say कि मैं ऐसा पढ़ाकू नहीं हूँ, but I'm always intrigued about ideas. जैसे मुझे lockdown में there were 6 to 7 startup ideas that I came across. So I noted
Great.
that down in diary. So I always feel like a FOMO, fear of missing out, while not executing those ideas because of the time commitment that with interality and Riolo. But yeah, this is what it is. मुझे इससे बहुत kick मिलती है.
Yes, sir. Adrenaline rush.
Yeah,
Great,
absolutely.
great. And I wish best of luck to you and your entrepreneurship, your innovation. And we would like to hear more from your side, more success stories, more achievement. And from my department as well as from GEC Bhavnagar, we wish you great success ahead.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Mr.
Thank you,
Malav
Over
ji.
to you,
Gajjar sir.
Srivastava sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you, Malavji, for sharing your inputs. Those these inputs, and a person who is of the same age bracket, if he or she comes up, the idea behind was that Vadodara sir was discussing with me was if the same age bracket. See, as a teacher, if Chintan sir, as Moin introduced me as an a person who idolizes me, we are bound to be teachers. We as a true teacher, everybody would inspire us. People connect with us also. But if the same age bracket, if a person from the same age bracket comes up with a success story, my person develops a dream कि ये हो सकता है.
Right.
I can also do. To dream, in fact, as Abdul Kalam sir has said, a dream is something that doesn't come when you sleep. It is something that doesn't allow you to sleep. But
So
that becomes more powerful, impactful when people like you, Malav, comes and says it. कि नहीं, I did this as I was like you, a mediocre boy, but was having some thirst, and that was not being quenched. वो प्यास बुझ नहीं रही थी. It was the प्यास of giving world a better thing, probably coming up, materializing or concretizing my ideas. And obviously the one who is at this juncture will always say failure is a part here, it's just a part, it's just a game show, it's nothing, it's okay yaar. No, there is no one on this earth who has always been a successful boy or a girl, so it's just a part. But process of going through is fabulous. So you got mentor like Vadodara sir, now GEC has, and I hope many more Malav Shahs uh, would have been born today itself and would be taking their journey towards success like what he did, and even better, which I aspire to. Thanks a lot for sharing your valuable inputs, and thanks to Vadodara sir. The moment the startup idea clicked, he said, "I have a guy. Let him come." And really people would appreciate. And sir, the whole YouTube is filled with comments about fabulous sessions, mind-blowing sessions. We need a
Yes,
reputation.
sir.
कुछ लोग तो उसमें भी चले गए हैं डांस इंडिया डांस वाले में. Once more, sir.
Great.
This is the humor that I always produce, because without humor is
yeah,
nothing. But definitely, you are a lovable guy
absolutely.
with a. एक चीज
Thank you so
बच्चों
much.
में मैं बोलूंगा, इनसे सीखने जैसी है, डाउन टू अर्थ रहना सीखें. काम और डाउन टू अर्थ जो रहता है वही आगे बढ़ता है. The perfect caption for Mr. Malav that I would like to give today. Thank you. Thanks a lot and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, sir,
Uh,
for your kind words. We haven't met yet or any point in time, but the kind of energy that you are delivering while speaking, I could sense that you have got a very positive vibes. That if I were there around you, I could vibe in with you very well because you seem to be like one of the person that would not just appeal to future or anything but has very positive impact. If I say कि sir ये ऐसा ऐसा हो गया है, you would pick any of the positive aspect if even from that thing. So I could sense it well.
thank you. Thanks a lot. Moin, your closing remarks, beta. Moin, your closing remarks. We'll call it a day then. Moin. Gajja sir, you can speak the closing remarks on his behalf. There can be some
Yes.
technical glitches.
It will be an honor for me. Well, we had very fabulous session, and an expert, I must say, an expert with this young brain has inspired a lot of participants, and I must say that even I am getting inspired to have more ideas in my SSIP, in personally in civil engineering, क्योंकि civil engineering में સભી કોન્ક્રીટ તો કે ભાઈ રેતી કપચી પાણી સિમેન્ટ અને પાણી બરાબર પણ એનાથી વિશે શું એનાથી આગળ શું now this is time for me to think by myself to have more futuristic vision. Okay, and presently I'm working on one project. Let us see how quickly I can wind up in that project too. If I will be less in somewhat inspiration, then I will surely mail to you, reach to you, Mr. Malav. So thank you very
Sure,
much.
sir.
Thank you, Professor Dr. GP Vadodaria sir, and Dr. Himanshu Srivastava sir. Thank you, Mr. Moin M. Pancha, President of SSIP Club, JEC Bhavnagar. And thank you all the participants. We are now calling off this session. Thank you everyone and good evening ahead to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.